Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Never Mind the Buy Box. Joined today by the lovely Luke, who is quitting his 9 to 5. Oh no, you've already quit your 9 to 5. It's done. It's over.
In 9 to
Right.
5 a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're going to dive into today here, how Luke kind of was able to quit his 9 to 5. So we just want to wait for a few people to come on. So if you're just joining us, I can see Jay on YouTube already. He says, hi guys, excited for this one. Absolutely. So am I. Usual drill, guys. Let us know if you can see and hear us okay. If you're in the Facebook group, can you see and hear us? Give us a thumbs up. Let me know. If you are watching on YouTube, can you give us a thumbs up and let us know that you can see and hear us? I'm going to jump into the comments on Facebook just so I can see who's asking what, because it doesn't show me on here. We've got Andre, we got Matt Cromie's in the house, we've got Hayden. Yep, thanks, Andre. Appreciate that. Matt also as well. God, we've got a lot of Matts in the house today. A lot of Matts coming on. My whole world surrounded by Matts and Luke. So I always say this, and the odd Hayden thrown in there as well. Good. Phil's joined us as well. Hi guys, we got Linda, we got Joe, we got Mark. Perfect. Jamie's back in the house. Hi Jamie, hope you're well. Good. Everyone jumping on. We've got Karen, Simon. We'll just go through and say hello. Look, guys, it's been a kind of, surprising month from a sales point of view from January. I want to talk about that first of all, before we kind of dive into detail with Luke, because Luke's had an interesting, journey to his selling, journey or selling career or whatever you want to call it. And I think that what's interesting, Luke, is you've gone down so many different kind of rabbit holes and different directions which has led you to where you are now. So I want to be able to go through that and show people what you've been able to build, from basically starting, an Amazon arbitrage business, essentially, going from there. So, but before we do, Rosie said, dying to hear Luke's story. Jess says hi as well. Hi, Jeff. Jess, sorry. Agree. Sean said, the sales are loads better than I thought again for January. I know. So let's talk about that for a second. Luke, I know you're in the same boat. We're expecting sales to kind of fall off a little bit of a cliff in January, but they've gone crazy. We're the last day of the month in January. Across the board, I'm hearing from loads of people experiencing ourselves. Where's this doom and gloom we were promised?
It's mad, isn't it? I think a lot of it is to do with what you're selling. But even now I'm selling toys and everything, and yeah, I think I'm something like only like 10% down from last month. So that's not bad, really, compared to last year. I think it was like 40% or something. So yeah, it's definitely more of an interest on Amazon at the moment, and maybe with the recession coming soon, maybe we need to take advantage of it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the most important point. And by the way, guys, we're not making light of, cost of living crises and potential recession and things like that. This is me. I got to look on the bright side, essentially. And, I've been, fortunate enough to put myself in the position over the years that come rain or shine, recession, whatever you want to do, we're going to get through. We always will. It might mean adjustments. It might doing things, differently or whatever. I'm not scared of any potential recession that's going to be coming, because I know it's definitely something that we're going to navigate and be able to navigate ourselves around. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm kind of joking about a recession. It's nothing to do with that. It's the kind of looking at it on the light side of, well, hey, we were promised all this doom and gloom. It hasn't materialized yet. It doesn't mean that it won't. Are people still living in that kind of uncertainty or naivety, I suppose, of denial that, yeah, okay, I'm just carrying on regardless. But the data kind of doesn't lie at the moment, and it's showing us that the demand is still there. that people are still looking for. So it could well be that not, competition might not be as high at the moment because people have maybe taken January off. That tends to happen sometimes after the Q4 period. So, but everything kind of lends us towards the doom and gloom hasn't kicked in yet. And Luke's right. We need to take advantage of that as long as possible. So yeah, it could just be
I don't think the demand will ever go from Amazon. We might get a slight decrease in pricing, but I never think the demand won't go. Because at the end of the day, people want stuff delivered to their house the next day, and that'll never go away. So this is why Amazon is a sustainable business. You see people on social media slating Amazon, well, when they're trying to sell their other courses, but it will never die. Amazon won't, 100% not.
Absolutely. And we are 2 years ahead of where we thought we were going to be in terms of demand and the growth experience. Yes, we're seeing some retraction from big companies and letting go of staff, and Amazon in particular, because they had to hire so much more of a higher headcount, during the COVID period. Now they've adjusted, they've remanaged their systems, they've brought it back under, that level of demand, extra demand that they were experiencing. And they've gone back to what their, pre-COVID kind of plan has been. So to the outset, it looks like, the company's retracting. But in reality, it's not. They're still ahead of where they would have been 2 years ago. That growth is the same, but they've just had to get rid of some people because either their fulfillment centers are outdated, or the extra staff that they took on for the demand of COVID has receded, which we fully expected it to. So, that's not something that's too much of a surprise.
There's new fulfillment centers as well, and they're building new fulfillment centers all over the UK. So, there's no issue with Amazon. They're not scared either, are they? They're still pumping millions and millions into the UK Amazon scene. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's something that even in a recession market, and I know someone says there that we're already technically in a recession. Oh, it's Hayden. He sells gifts and it's all still good. So from that point of view, not worried. We're full steam ahead. Doesn't change the plan, providing you've got the right plan put in place, or what could be the right plan for you for this moment in time. So yeah, we are making hay while the sun shines. Continue to sell. If you've been out of it for a period, if you thought, I'm going to sit January out because it's a bit of a crappy month or whatever, unfortunately, you've missed the boat a little bit. FOMO back in because sales are strong. I'll be interested to see how February goes. So keep us updated in the group. Yeah, February will be an interesting month because I've always said January is perceived to be a crap month, but it's not. It tends to be February.
That's weird though, isn't it? Because Valentine's Day, there's so much opportunity around Valentine's. So that surprises me how it's not as good as January. You'd think it would be the other way around, really.
Well, I've got a little bit of a theory on Valentine's Day. It's the most unique occasion when it comes to sales in the year because it's a very short holiday. In terms of likeness, it's like Halloween, but Halloween is slightly different because it appeals across the board to so many different dynamics. It appeals to kids, it appeals to adults. People are having parties, people are trick-or-treating, there's fancy dress, there's gifts, there's parties, there's food, there's makeup. There's a lot of different dynamics to Halloween, even though it's only celebrated one day a year. So you tend to have a bit more of an increase in demand, a slower update to an increase in Valentine's Day than Valentine's Day with Halloween. So it's a similar holiday, but in terms of the build-up's longer for Halloween. Yeah. Whereas with Valentine's Day, it's the only occasion of its time, really, where people think about it from a last-minute point of view. I hate to be that person and I hate to throw shade on the men, but it tends to be the holiday that a man will think about relatively short notice, like a few days before.
I bet Matt hasn't thought about it yet.
So everybody knows it exists, kind of thing. But it tends to be, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if I'm throwing shade, but it tends to be of what we call a really high peaked holiday, a really high peaked occasion. So what happens is that not that gradual increase that's going into it. You almost see the peak like that. It shoots up in the Valentine's week and it shoots back down again. But that arch, that V is huge. So in that really short period of time, you can make a lot of money and a lot of sales for that period of time. So it's the last minute holiday. That's why we tend to see such a unique experience around that. We don't see the build up like we see the build up for Easter, which has started already, guys. If you are in vanilla arbitrage and you're not sourcing Easter eggs already, get on it. They're selling, they're going, it's started. So Valentine's is a little bit of a unique holiday in that respect, but there's always opportunity to make money off of those type of things.
Isn't it mad that people buy Easter eggs now and store them away?
Well,
that's easy. Like
I don't store them away, Luke. They eat them.
What, in February?
Yeah, because it's like a proven fact that Easter eggs taste better than normal chocolate. I say it every single year. Egg-shaped chocolate tastes better. I don't know what they do, but it just does. It's facts. I'm spitting facts, as my son would say. When it comes to it, just tastes better. I've already bought some Cadbury's cream eggs and I've already eaten them.
I love Cadbury's cream eggs. Offline. Amazing.
I know. Do you know what? I'm not going to go down the Easter egg rabbit hole because, like, literally, I could sit here and spend the next hour talking about egg-shaped chocolate, and they find it. Oh, they put oil in Easter eggs. Someone has said, mate. Oh, it's Rhea. Oh, do they? There we go. Interesting. I thought they didn't do anything different, but maybe. Well, sounds like they do. That's the reason why. There we go. You learn something new every day for sure. Brilliant. Thanks for confirming that, Rhea. Good afternoon, Donna. Hi. Sorry, Anne. Sorry, I didn't mean to pronounce that wrong. I'll be able to say it properly if I wasn't live. David himself saying January doubled last year. Amanda's joined us as well. Daniel says he's first. Glad to see you're always on it, Daniel. Always first on the point. Sean said the Brits are copying Americans, whacking up those credit cards. Absolutely. Send them our direction. For sure. Come and spend it on the Amazon platform. We're happy for that. Hayden says interesting, just mainstream media trying to scare everyone. I think there's an element of that. Ben says that he's joined us. Hi, Ben, welcome. Couldn't comment on YouTube, so he's jumped on here now. Loads of other people have joined us. There's loads on today. Luke, look at you. The turnout. Everyone's come to see you or come to hear me talk about why chocolate Easter eggs taste
They thought it was some other Luke, didn't they? They thought it was Luke Dugan or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? I talked to someone this morning and we went through all the Lukes before we got to you. And I was like, no, it's not Cricket Luke. No, it's not Luke Dugan. No, it's not that Luke. No, it's that Luke.
Because I haven't got Facebook, innit? I'm not on Facebook anymore, so I don't
no. You have become a TikTok guru now. You've gone down the TikTok route. Sorry, me and Luke.
TikToker, actually. I'm
a TikTok influencer. I can rib Luke. I've known him for a long time, so I know he doesn't mind it. But yeah, before anyone has a go at me for calling him a guru. But that's what that kind of leads us on to the next part. So, for anyone, like I said, you're not a big Facebooker now. You tend to be on some of the other kind of social mediums. So you have been on Nevermind the Buy Box before. But for those, is it twice now? Is it?
Yeah, twice. This is the third time.
Third time lucky. Yeah. And do you know what I find really interesting is actually when I think back to what I thought was, the first and the only time, is how much your direction has changed between when you first appeared and what you were doing and where you thought it was going to lead you to where you are now. And this is why I wanted Luke to come on today, essentially, to give you guys the motivation of, you know, kind of to carry on what you're doing, because you never know where this path is going to take you and what route it's going to go down. So, you know, just to fill everyone in on your kind of journey, we're not going to go dive deep into how you started or anything like that, but usual kind of story. Saw the Amazon arbitrage opportunity, dived in, did it well, came across the usual barriers that most people face, and then you started looking at kind of different areas. But you noticed very quickly, you know, that being a brand owner was something that you wanted to achieve. So you went ahead, and I've worked with Luke and known him for a long time. And I think that, you know, one of the things that the success and where you are then and where you are now is because you are an action taker. It's as simple as that. So you came up with the idea for the brand. So do you want to tell people about that, how you kind of got started in that? Because interestingly enough, you took the route of creating a brand, but not to sell it on Amazon. So talk us through how that sort of you came to that decision.
Yeah, I think it was June of last year. I was actually going to start it with Hayden. So me and Hayden were going to start, but we weren't going to do clothing. We were going to do more gym accessories, and then we decided to do clothing. And then I just took it on my own. Something I've always wanted to do is have a brand. I weren't 100% sure if I wanted it to be clothing, but I liked the concept of having my own clothes and wearing my own clothes. I'm wearing it now. It's black on black, but you can't really see it. I wear my stuff all the time. So I think it was that sort of not ego, but I wanted to wear my own clothes. I wanted to bring out my own thing, design my own collection. So that's where it come from. And then I went into like sustainability, because being sustainable, majority of my clothes now, even if I don't have my own stuff, are sustainable, because it's really important to me. I like organic materials, not only because of the environment, because it feels nice and it washes well and all things like that. So yeah, I just sort of went with it, and I worked extremely hard. If I do say so myself, I've done it all myself. And yeah, I've learned so much from this, and you know, we'll get onto it in a bit when we talk further about it. But it was probably the best decision I ever made doing that, because what I've learned from trying to build a brand off Amazon has really made me a better businessman and a better brand owner. And because I won't make the same mistakes that I made, because I made a lot of mistakes. I made so many mistakes. I overbought stock. My poor mother still got a box room full of stock. So I bought too much stock. I had the best first week. I think I done something stupid like 10K in the first week selling clothes, right? So then I just went, right, I'm investing that 10K and more into stock. I ended up buying 10 of each size, 10 of each, you know, different colors. I went totally overboard, which in them situations, and back then, that was my personality. I'm a lot more, I think a lot more now. And
More restrained.
yeah, I was very like, right, okay, I sold this, let's buy more, let's buy more, let's buy more. And that, a lot of that has come from the arbitrage as well. It's having that. I am a reseller at heart, but it's buying, and I got stung doing online arbitrage as well, and wholesale and all these other things. Buying something and then it sells well in one day and it sells out, and then you go and buy 100. I've learned so many lessons from doing that. It's you will get stung by doing it. So yeah, that's the first few months anyway.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. And I think what's interesting is, you know, looking at it from that arbitrage point of view, that's very common. You know, you sell things, you buy something, you buy 3 units of it. Brilliant. They sold out in 24 hours. So therefore I'll go and buy 300 units of it. And it doesn't work like that. You have to test the market. You have to ease back into it, you know, employ that kind of restraint, and that tends to be how people do get stung, is mismanagement of stock levels, and mismanagement of buying and mismanagement of cash flow and all those different types of things. And I know it's something, and I can see it in reflective in your business now as well. But going back to the kind of clothes, you decided, what was the reason, by the way, what was the reason not to launch it on Amazon?
Too competitive, even more competitive. And to be honest, now I weren't at the stage in my Amazon career that I am at now that I would be confident to create my own listings, optimize listings, and product photos, PPC. Now I've learned all this, I could, but it's not something that I thought, right, I won't do it on Shopify, I'll do it on Amazon, because I was so like fixated with having a brand, as in I wanted to have a really big social media. I wanted to have, and we've achieved so much in such a small amount of time.
Yeah.
With, we've closed out one of the biggest fashion shows in the UK. We've worked with some like unbelievable people, influential people. So I don't really know, to answer your question, why I didn't, but I think it was because I wanted to do something off of Amazon as well, and I weren't confident. I didn't know. I looked at all these clothing, because I did do a bit of research. I looked at the clothing on Amazon. There was big branded clothing, and I'm like, how am I, a little entrepreneur from Wales, and a clothing brand, an unknown clothing brand? How am I supposed to get sales on Amazon when I need to get sales in my local area first? In which, what I done, I think the first like 100 sales were like in Wales, I think, and then obviously I sold some to my dad and my family down in Portsmouth, but majority, 99% of them, were in Wales, and that's what I think we done well. But I think we needed to expand to the whole of the UK a bit quicker. But I was trying to niche, and I was trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Connect with people from my local area. With Eccomerce, it's a brand for the 100% of people. It's no discrimination. There's no stigma, and it's using sustainable products, only the best organic cotton, recycled materials. So I was trying to really go down that route, which it went well. So.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. And, Hayden confirmed their big action taper. Absolutely. He's launching his own brand. And I think this is something that's factored into a lot of people's, e-com journeys, essentially. We are in that renaissance, that golden age of being able to build an e-com brand and build an e-com business throughout all the opportunities that are available for us to be able to do that. And I think what's really interesting, actually, and this is my own Natalie Freud cap that goes on, and I see this in quite a lot of people. I think sometimes people do, especially when talking about building your own brand, it's only really become more fashionable and more acceptable to build a brand on Amazon in the last maybe 6 to 12 months, because of the aggregation and people buying brands and all of the brand registry. I think beforehand, people kind of saw Amazon as a little bit like an eBay situation, that you wouldn't build like you couldn't really build like a true brand on Amazon, because it's Amazon, you didn't have that facilities to it. So people, want to establish it in their own right. And I do understand it from that point of view, but also it's where all the traffic is. It's where everybody goes. It's one of those things, but you need that specialist knowledge to be able to do it, like you said. So I think it was the right choice for you to be able to do it. But I also think there's a little bit of stigma around building a brand on Amazon, which I think hopefully by talking to people and talking about it, and I think sometimes people get a little bit embarrassed by saying they're an Amazon seller or something like that.
I think a lot, on social media, there's so much like stigma around it and building a brand on Amazon. But at the end of the day, guys, right, the amount of money that you have to spend to drive traffic to your website. I know you can have a really good social media. That's fair enough. You're getting organic traffic to it.
Which you built, by the way, didn't you? You did build that good social media.
So, but even that is like you're fighting for every single sale on social media. So you put in posts, you're doing 3 to 5 stories a day, you're doing a post every single day at a certain time. And there's another 5 brands, there's another 10 brands in your South Wales area. So you're all fighting for these sales. And the only way to get consistent sales is something that I didn't really do, is you have to pay a lot of money to drive traffic to it. You have to. Otherwise, it's, I don't want to be negative, but it's really, really, really hard. Really hard. And all these people on social media, I keep saying that, but it's really grinding my gears at the moment. There's a couple of influencers that I won't name, but they got it in for Amazon. And they are on about building an e-com brand, and, why would you build it on Amazon? Well, why wouldn't you? You've got to probably pay 10 times the amount on ads to drive traffic to your website, when, okay, the margins might be a little bit smaller on Amazon, but when you think how much money you've got to spend on ads to drive it to your website, it's probably better on Amazon,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it gives you that credibility. It gives you that trust. Amazon is now the place where so many customers will be able to go, and they know that once they part with their money and they make that purchase, that they have that leverage of Amazon trust and credibility. Now, what I'll say is there's no real right or wrong way of doing this. Luke hit the nail on the head there. It doesn't mean because you launch a brand off of Amazon first and go down that. It's not the wrong way of doing it. It's just a different way of doing it. Right. Okay. So people that come out and say, don't do this or don't do that, this one is right and this one is wrong, just don't believe them. Right. You can do it either way. But Luke hit the nail on the head there. Providing you've got the knowledge to be able to do it, why wouldn't you do it? Okay. There's always generally, and again, I don't want to go down this negative route of saying people have agendas and things like that, but generally, and this is what I want everyone who watches this, who watches the replay, who's part of any of our groups, who's part of our masterminds, the biggest thing that you've always got to take into account of, when something happens, and I spoke about this last week or the week before, is why are they saying that? What's the reason? Have they told you that, you shouldn't do it this way? And then all of a sudden at the end of the call, they're saying, sign up to this. There's a reason for that, right? Always ask the question in everything that you do in this business. Why? Did you sell something? Great. Why did it sell? If you didn't sell, why didn't it sell? If somebody wants to take you down that rabbit hole, why? All of these reasons. And as long as you're always asking questions and you're always thinking about it, that you'll never kind of go wrong. It helps you develop this kind of gut instinct about what is, right or wrong for you, as opposed to nothing's right or wrong. All of these techniques work, but they don't generally just work from today to tomorrow. There's a lot, like I said, I think I did this. It was in reflection to what Hayden posted in his group a couple of days ago. There's no such thing as an overnight success in business. No. It just takes time and patience and consistency.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Of doing that.
I was going to do a TikTok on, the only reason why, because I get people messaging me and probably like you, this is really hard, it's too hard. And what I always say to them, it's a bit harsh, but I always say the only reason why you're going to fail is you're going to give up. That's literally, there's too many success stories on Amazon, in this community, in all communities, even the silent ones that are doing 8, 7, 8 figures. There's too many success stories for it not to be true. So yeah. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. The house always wins as well, guys. So if someone's selling you something, and Amazon themselves, be at peace with the fact that everybody can win together generally, providing you're doing your side of the bargain. That's the way you got to look at it. You should have no means, unless someone's an absolute scam artist, obviously. But we know Amazon's not a scam. It's not a scam. It's as simple as that. So providing you're putting your trust in the right people, I just about to say there's no right or wrong. Well, there is when it comes to gurus. But providing you're putting trust in the right people through proven experience and talking to other people and whatever, providing you take action, yes, it might not happen today, tomorrow, but generally part of the reason why it doesn't work out is you will give up just before you give it a chance, and that's generally how people get that kind of bad taste in their mouth.
Another thing that they get a bad taste is when they get a common theme as well is they get frustrated by the automation of the messages from Amazon, and sometimes people quit because they're not getting a manual mess, or they're not can actually speak to someone. At the end of the day, the only person that loses is you. Amazon don't give a shit if you fail. They don't care.
Yeah,
so you just got to persevere with it and get on with it, overcome and adapt.
And there'll always be the next person, there'll always the next seller will come along. So like Luke said, Amazon don't care if you sell because there'll be someone else queuing up to pay that professional seller fee after you anyway. So it's up to you and you alone to make it work. But going back to that kind of brand, Luke, this is what I wanted to sort of talk and cover is what I really admire about your brand journey with setting up Optimus U. And we'll come on to the direction of where it went afterwards. Is you kind of did it properly. You went in, you built a fashion brand, which is in itself a very competitive niche, and then an incredibly competitive sub niche, which is, gym clothing within itself. You went down the sustainability route, which, rightly or wrongly, is another sub niche in itself in terms of, but you explain the reasons why. It really was, for you prefer those level of clothes. They're softer, they wear better, everything like that. That's fine. But you also did it properly. You got proper photography. You put yourself into fashion shows. You did things differently. You didn't just whack it up and pray to the social media gods that people would find you on Instagram. You put yourself out there. You got in touch with influencers. You got in touch with people in your local area and areas that you could get wearing your clothes. And you just really gave it a good push, didn't you?
Yeah, I think anything that I do, I always give it 100%. But a lot of it made it a lot easier because of the networking that I done and the friends that I made with it, with the fashion agent, the model agent and the modeling agency. So I become really close to a lot of people there. So I was sort of the brand for the agency, so it made it a lot easier. There was photographers there, and that's the power of networking. You really don't know where you could go if you just meet that one person. So that really helped a lot. And yeah, it was hard. Like, I'm not going to say that it wasn't. It was the clothing. I didn't expect it to be like this. I didn't expect it to be this hard, but it is. It's something that I would recommend to start a brand. I wouldn't recommend a clothing brand, I'll be honest.
Yeah. So this is
100% transparent with everyone,
Yeah. Now this is the route. Luke built a really successful brand, and this is the root of what I wanted to get to. So Luke built a really successful e-commerce brand, which on the surface was, selling incredibly well. You'd done everything right. You built it. You'd got amazing photography. You were in fashion shows. You were bringing out seasons. It was sustainable. It was lovely. But I suppose what you didn't take into account is, which many don't in the area, with the fashion area, is you had some issues with some margins, which then when you're dealing with clothing, you deal with a lot of returns and all of those areas. So the output was fantastic, but then the bottom line, when it came down to it, there was too many kind of holes, for want of a better word, that couldn't make it sustainable in the long term in its current form. Is that right?
I think if I wouldn't have gone sustainable, I think I would have probably still been doing it now because the margins would have been. And I'll be honest, people don't care about sustainability. Like 95 or 98% of my customers. They wouldn't care if it was sustainable or as long as it felt nice. So I could have made a lot more money if I didn't go sustainable, but I was just so fixated with having this sustainable brand because I couldn't see one out there. I couldn't see a Gymshark equivalent, a sustainable equivalent to Gymshark. So that is what the main drive was, and the inspiration was to try and be the better Gymshark, the sustainable Gymshark. But and I sort of, it was really challenging because of my margins at start they were good, but then with all the expenses and with all the things that come with owning a fashion brand and overbuying and stuff, it just became it wasn't as profitable as I first anticipated. But the first 3 to 4 months were really profitable because I weren't doing didn't have any. I had staff in the end, and I was paying someone to do my prep, and all things like that. So I was earning good money, but then, things happen.
This is the interesting part. And I thank you for your honesty, Luke. And this is why I wanted to get on here, for your transparency and being able to, for people to look at this as inspiration, because Luke built a brilliant brand. There's no doubt about it. You look at the quality of the brand that he built. We've got some of the clothing, Matt likes it. He wears it and everything like that. It's a great brand, but obviously everything that he's spoken about. But you said yourself, you learned lessons, and fashion, we were a distributor in fashion. I know exactly what you're talking about in terms of the level of complications it comes with. Yeah. But I would say this is where, when it comes to building a brand, either on or off Amazon, it applies to both, it's not just a case of having an idea and rolling with it and perception and, okay, let's make ourselves different from Gymshark and whatever. So you really have to dig down and think the reasons why someone would buy something off of you as opposed to someone else. And on the surface, you would say like, okay, I'm going to buy it off of you instead of Gymshark, but it's sustainable. And that's the obvious answer. But then when you think about it, you got to sit down and think, right, who am I targeting? What's their market? Probably 20 or 16 to 30-year-olds, right? Or 16 to 25-year-olds, that kind of market. Yeah. When you dive deep on that type of market, this is why knowing your audience is so important, and doing the research when you're building a brand. Does my 16 to 25-year-old audience care about sustainability? Or do they live in a throwaway society that if they get a hole in their pants, in their yoga pants, they're just going to buy another pair?
I think people will say that they do, but when it comes to it, they don't give a crap. They don't.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it comes down to. And that's where you need to think about. And the research that you do in the start will ultimately lead you down that route. That yes, 16 to 25-year-olds or 30-year-olds, we all have those moments where I'm looking at it. Shall I buy the organic, self-sustained coffee that's fair, trademarked, or shall I buy the Costa one, which I know and love and I taste? Yeah, Kenko, whatever. It comes down to, most of us, we want to feel that we're, pious, and we want to believe that we're going to do the right thing morally. But the people that really care about that sustainability, they're the lot on the motorway holding up all the traffic, and they're not going to buy your brand.
No, they're not.
No, because they're knitting their own stuff and, out of organic wool. And it's a harsh reality, but it's so, so true. So knowing your audience is really, really important. And you said yourself, it's that sustainability, that overall cost margin that ultimately led you, with a combination to other stuff, that this wasn't the future for you. And that's where I'm going to lead us on to the kind of TikTok thing. Because it all kind of leads in, all kind of amalgamated at the same time. Was you were kind of following a dream, a goal, a reality in which, and you said it yourself, again, it became a cost factor. You were having to, and Luke's brilliant at outsourcing, by the way. If you ever want to hear about how to outsource things well, listen to Luke, because you're brilliant at building teams and outsourcing and building connections and relationships with service providers and things like that. But in reality, there wasn't enough money to be able to do it. And you didn't want to do it yourself, which some people at this stage would. You come to this crossroads in your business and you say, right, costs are too high. If I want to carry it on, I need to bring it all back. I need to start packing myself. I need to do this. I need to do that. But this is when that light bulb moment kind of happened, because you didn't want to do that. You wanted to be doing what you're doing now, which is traveling the world. And you realized at that moment you couldn't do it, because at the end of the day, if you're tied to a warehouse in South Wales, posting and packaging orders, you're never going to be able to fulfill what your true end goal is at the moment, which is obviously to live that digital nomad sort of style. So at the same sort of time, tell us how you kind of fell into TikTok and where that kind of went, because, you know, I've known you for a long time, and that was even a surprise to me that you went down that route. So, you know, what happened then? Because you were still doing the brand at that point, right?
Do you know what it was? My friend who was the modeling agent said, "Luke, get on TikTok, because you know you when we speak about, I speak to about Amazon to him, and he's like, you really, you know your stuff when you just do a couple of videos and see how it goes." And then I done, what was the first video? Selling Pyrex glasses, and it went like mad. It was like over 100K views, and then I just sort of went for it. You know, as soon as I seen that, I was like, right, it kept becoming an obsession a little bit. I was like, right, I want to beat yesterday's views. I want to beat yesterday's. I want to get this. And it's just been mad. Like, I think I've had it like 4 months now or something, 3-4 months. And it's just, I've loved it. I really have loved it. And you know, people say about like trolls on TikTok. I've hardly had any trolls on there. I've had a few, but hardly any. You know, it's amazing to be able to have a good audience, and to be able to help so many people, and that's what sort of we were speaking the other day, and I had a reflection, and I was like, what do I want to do and what do I want to achieve? And one of the things is to try and help as many people as I can, but to be traveling the world, because my happiness comes before anything and any business or whatever. And this is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, going and traveling the world. And now I'm in the lucky position that I can do it, because I have one of my Amazon business is like 99% outsourced. I'm going to be building, we'll talk about this in a bit, but we'll be building Eccomerce on Amazon. So all that is going to be, 70-80% outsourced. And then I've got my social medias and things. So I'm just in this lucky position, and I'm so thankful for it. And I'm so thankful that I made the decision to stop Eccomerce, and I made the decision to come out here and live the way that I've wanted to live for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the lesson here, guys. And that's what I was just about to say. Hope it's coming across what happened with Luke. He was very much going down a direction that he thought he wanted, but the reality of the situation kicked in. You got that. I've been talking about it this week. You got that big fish around the face, cold, hard slap in the face of reality that actually, when you were doing it, it wasn't quite what you envisaged. And for what you actually truly wanted to achieve, that path was not going to lead you down that route. But also at the same time, you don't want to throw away all of that good work. So over a period of 3 to 4 months, like you said yourself, you kind of fell into something. It worked out, a little bit of luck, a little bit of whatever way you want to do it, but that luck was caused by you putting yourself in that position in the first place. Someone said, you want to get on TikTok, you want to do this, and then I suppose that kind of opened your eyes even more. So if I go down the Optimus U clothing route, I'm not going to be able to go in this direction, because it's not going to work without some of these costs involved. So it gave you that opportunity. Now, what can happen sometimes, this happens to a lot of people, but where people's downfall generally is, and I see this from a coaching point of view, I see it from an outside perspective point of view, because we've put so much hard work into something in the first place, we don't want to let it go. We don't want to give it up. We don't want that perception of failure. But the bravest thing that you can do, and one of the bravest things that Luke did, was say, No, I promised this. You promised a new launch, a new brand. And I said to you, I said, well, who have you promised it to? Does it matter? And it's that kind of reality setting in of this is not going to give me what I truly want in the long term. So now I have to build businesses based around being able to outsource them. Otherwise, it's not going to go down that route. Now, that's not the same for everyone. I've always spoken openly. I don't want to be a digital nomad. I don't want to travel the world. It's not for me. But at the end of the day, I still am building businesses related about that because it gives me the opportunity to do whatever I want, to be able to coach or, spend time fully with my kids or do this or whatever. I'm not going to make this about me and going down that route. But what I'm saying is you can pivot. You don't have to fail. Which if you'd have stopped and given up, that would have been, you would have failed at it, but you'd learned from it anyway as well. So you kind of fallen into TikTok. TikTok's exploded. I saw it from day one. I saw you really exploded on there. You've been able to monetize that channel quickly, which is added to your existing Amazon. Luke's still an Amazon seller, by the way, as well. We haven't really discussed that, and we haven't really even gone down that route. But Luke's still a successful Amazon seller as well. On top of that, but like you said, that's a business that's already been fully outsourced and it's passive and it's working. And now you're changing that direction. So you're traveling the world, open-ended. You're not. You've got no date of coming back. You're over in the Philippines at the moment. You've been living your best life, hanging out with like loads of Swedish men,
drinking too much,
going down that route because the business has been enabled you to do that. But let's talk about that decision you made to end the brand, diversify. So you've stopped the clothing, for want of a better word, but you're going to use everything that you've learned from building that ecom brand. Now you're going to mix it up, change it, because we've, you've done some tests and you've gone into a different market based on Amazon, but still with the same brand. And now that's the next route you're going to go down because you've looked at it and it can be outsourced, whereas the other thing couldn't be.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it, to be fair. Like, we've tested and it's gone well. Like, we're going to test more and we're going to really take our time with it. But for me, I love my logo. You can't see it, right? But it's like I created this myself. So it's like I really want this to be the focal point of the brand. Like, we're changing the name. We're going to change the name, but it's going to be the same concept. It's going to be still integrated with this logo, but it's going to be nothing to do with clothing. Well, slightly to do with clothing. There's going to be some accessories and things like that. I don't want to say too much what it's going to be, but it's going to be something that I'll be announcing. Well, I'm going to have my social medias and I'm going to drive traffic to the Amazon listings anyway. So it doesn't really matter, but I'd like to test a bit more and then come out with a full package.
Yeah. Sorry. He said, Cindy says, hanging out with Swedish men. I haven't seen that video.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, no, Luke just told me one day, he was like, oh, I'm off out tonight. I'm going out with 3 Swedish guys that I just met in my digs kind of thing. And I was like, ooh, have fun.
Very nice boys they were.
Yeah, absolutely. Yana has said, does Luke have his own warehouse? So I'll let you cover that.
No, nothing. I use a prep center. I use a prep center for my clothing as well. My mother does a little bit of storing for me. But she's very well stocked up on Optimus U clothing. So, but no, I've never wanted to do that route. For me, it's something that maybe in 5 to 10 years' time I look at when I'm more settled in my South Wales or in England or wherever, something that I will look at. But now it's not. It doesn't interest me.
Yeah, so I suppose the way you're sort of saying is you are strategically building businesses now that do not require own film fulfillment at this stage. It's only
Yeah.
going to be something, you're not going to start anything at this stage in your life that can't be run through a prep center.
No, but what the aim is really is to build. I'm going to say the name of it because it's not that. It's OY Gifts is what the name of the brand is going to be. So it's getting OY Gifts to a stage that we can buy our own prep center, not prep center, our own warehouse, and
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
yeah. So it's trying to get, and it's going to be 100% built on Amazon, and then obviously we'll go off Amazon once it gets a bit of a name.
Yeah, cool. So that direction is definitely where you want to go. There's no doubt about it. And of course, it's giving you the freedom to be able to kind of go into that direction, get back onto experiencing that kind of demand within building your Amazon business, which obviously the big plan is obviously not just in the UK but obviously in global markets. It takes you into different directions, but everything that can be built from that kind of outsourced. And I feel I'm using this a lot at the moment, but it's so true, that kind of 4-hour work week philosophy to be able to do it.
I think by the end of the year, I'd like to be, and I'm not saying about my new brand, but whatever else I do on Amazon, I'd like to be doing UK. I do UK and US now, but I'd like to do Europe, and I'd like to do predominantly Germany, and I'd like to do some other marketplaces as well, in the Middle East and stuff like that. So
Absolutely. Well, the world is definitely your oyster to be able to do that. There's no doubt about it. Any other questions for Luke? Let us know. A few people have asked for the website. We've put it down there. Marion, thanks for sharing that. Really appreciate it. And I think the thing is, like I said, although ultimately that business is ceasing and it's coming to an end, what it was about today, and it's really great to share it, is showing Luke what Luke has done well in terms of his branding, the way that he's done things, the quality of the quality of everything he's done when it comes to building a brand, because you can't half-ass it now, guys. That people are too brand aware, people are too brand driven, in terms of what they want to buy. And especially coming into this recession, people want value for money. They want to feel like they're getting the best possible deal in terms of where they're going to part their money to. And building a brand, selling a brand is so accessible to everyone to be able to do it. I often talk about this on ESA. I've talked about this on, Never Mind the Buy Box before. And this is where things change for me. There's a Gary Vaynerchuk video that I watched years ago. I say years ago, probably at the start of COVID. And even then, I think the video was maybe a year or 18 months old before that, where he spoke in detail about being able to compete with the likes of Coca-Cola now.
yeah,
Everyone watching, me, him, whatever, have the ability to be able to compete with these top level brands that have been around for 100 years now, because of what we have at our disposal to be able to build brands, but only if you do it correctly. Really do think about brand building, whether it's your own personal brand, because we haven't even really spoke about that. And I think I might leave that, for a whole different session. We had Luke Roberts on a few weeks ago before Christmas, who talks about his TikTok journey in a slightly different way. He's going to go down and sell his brand on TikTok, whereas when we talk about TikTok, that's your personal brand, that's you as an influencer. It's not to do with the product
I hate that word influencer, but it's mainly online business, Amazon content for beginners. Mainly it's beginner sort of based, trying to get people out of their 9 to 5, trying to get them started with a side hustle, because I think it's so important. And if anyone's watching this now that haven't got a side hustle, you really need to start, whether that's Amazon, whether that's Shopify, whether that's, I hate it, but drop shipping. Just make sure you're doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's definitely the rule of thumb, and what everyone to the route that everyone goes down. Rosie said, that's the dream, Luke. Really inspirational story. You still come across as such a down-to-earth, lovely guy. It's so apparent you will have phenomenal success whatever you pivot to. Wow.
Thank
What a
you so much.
lovely thing to say.
Thank you so much. I'm
Yeah,
blessed
Rosie's
with that.
great. Oh, there you go. You have to go off and hide in the corner somewhere. Ria says, I've really enjoyed watching this today. Super inspiring. And that's what these sessions are all about when we get sellers on, to be able to talk through, what's gone well. But ultimately, whatever way you look at it, this is stemmed from Luke, going through the process of, shutting a business down. Essentially, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, but you have to take out, what the lessons that are learned from it. And you've learned so many lessons that, even if you didn't make a penny out of it, imagine the value that that's brought to you as an entrepreneur, as a business person. Like you've said, that's what you've bought.
Yeah, invaluable lessons I've learned. I probably, if everything would have gone well, in say I was just selling on Amazon for 10 years, I've learned a lot more in this last year with the mistakes that I've made than that I know I never will now, and I still might make a few mistakes because I still make mistakes every day. But that's
Don't we all? Don't
humanology.
we
So
all?
yeah,
Nobody's perfect. And I'll tell you what, if anyone claims to be, run, because
yeah,
they're trying to sell you a dream
met a
that
few
doesn't
people like
exist.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are shit shows all over the place. That I can absolutely assure you of. You just got to get more stuff right than you get wrong. That's the key
Yeah.
to be able to do it. Kurum says, fun fact, Nike started as a side hustle. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, didn't
When
know that.
was Nike? When did Nike start? 19.
All
It's
I
got to
know,
be 100 years old, is it?
oh, I don't think it's that old. I'm not
No?
sure. No, Coca-Cola is, Coca-Cola, that's another classic entrepreneurial story. They could not sell it for love nor money,
Yeah.
when they first came out. And, that's ultimately, that's the lesson. You literally, there are so many times, and this is, I think, how you need to look at it. Amazon really does give people such a unique perspective of building a business. It allows people to create a shortcut into business that sometimes you don't experience what through traditional type of businesses. I've talked about this before. Business used to be a 3-year plan. First year you lose, second year you break even, third year you make a profit. That was how business was done. Whereas Amazon does allow you to show you the power a lot quicker. Yeah, you might make mistakes at the start. It might cost you for the first year. I wouldn't expect anything less, but it can give you and show you that gateway to success a lot quicker than anything else would be. And I tell you what, I'll always have an Amazon business in terms of selling, no matter the road we go down or what we do in the future or what's coming, because there are very rarely, businesses like Amazon that do not allow you to pivot, evolve, learn from. If you're an Amazon seller, God, the emotions that you go through, what Amazon throws you, the challenges that you face, why wouldn't you want to expose yourself to that as a business person? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think it's such a unique opportunity, Amazon. And even now, everyone thinks, oh, the ship has sailed, and it really hasn't. I really think it's just starting. And it's all about evolving. It's all about, yeah, not taking everything Amazon tell you to heart and just literally getting on with it. That's all it is. And if basically, I look at it like this: if someone is never go with the herd, always go the other way, is what I always think. Like, if a load of people are selling one category, go and sell in the other category.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're preaching to the choir here. That's what I've preached for a really long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to force people to do what I do to show them the light. I mean, it still blows my mind now. We have so many proven success stories of people making thousands of pounds, changing people's lives and things like that. But people still don't believe it, and they still end up going out somewhere else, or whatever. It's because, but it's one of those things you can't see it until you see it. You can't look for it until you see it. That's interesting. Loads of Nike facts coming in 1964. Apparently,
was it 1964?
Yeah, I didn't think it was that late. Yeah, and do you know how
on that age?
Yeah, that's how I knew that. No, I didn't know. I didn't think it was much before that, because I remember, I think there was a scene in like Forrest Gump where he's given a pair of Nike shoes around the sort of 60s, 70s, and it was quite new. I know, Journey. Love it. It's one of my favorite films, Forrest Gump, for sure. I get all of my facts from there, from Forrest Gump. Love the story, Luke. Such a humble guy for your incredible success. TikTok follow inbound. Yeah, before we wrap up and start wrapping up for the day, shameless plug, Luke. Where can people connect with you? Where can people see your stories? Your TikToks they crack me up. They're really, really funny. And like I said, you do focus on quite a bit of the beginner market, but at the same time, still valuable watches.
Still good, to be honest. Now I'm sort of going into like deep diving into a lot more. And because, I think a lot of people, there's only there's a massive demographic of people, obviously, to try and get in, but there's people on there now that want more intermediate content, advanced content. So I'm trying to do as much content as I can. I've got another TikTok which I do traveling now as well, which is really, I've got over 10k on that now as well.
Have you? You didn't know that? Okay, there you go. If digital nomading is in your future, if that's your end goal, the route that you want to go down, go there. Someone's just posted the link. I reckon it's Cindy, who's posted the link, or if not, let us know.
If I want to end on this. If anyone has got they want to do something, as in on social media, don't be scared to do it, because it can literally change your life, and it can bring up opportunities that you never ever would think that you could do. Like, not only just have a following, but what comes with the following. There's opportunities that I get asked opportunities every single day, to promote something or do this, do that. I've been able to do so much things from just starting a TikTok account, which, if you have a hobby or you want to do something, I'm got to be Amazon. If you've got, it can be anything. If you like knitting, you can go on to TikTok or Instagram, start knitting. Hard for me to say that was with my Welsh accent, but start doing knitting videos, and you never know where it could lead. You could end up with an audience, and then basically your life could change.
Absolutely. And, like I said, never close yourself off to opportunity. You never know in which form it's going to appear. You never know when it's going to show yourself. But if you are closed off to it, you are not going to recognize it. That's for sure. Always open it. Always say yes. Even if it's not 100% what you want to do, it might take you down the direction. Never close yourself off to that opportunity. Always be able to recognize it. Someone says there, I don't know who it is. I would like to teach the world to sing, to buy a Coke. That dates me. Yeah. All of these really, really, memorable advertising campaigns for these type of products. Well, guess what? You can have the same level of success because you have the same level of exposure. I'll see if I can try and dig out that Gary Vaynerchuk video and stick it somewhere, because, stick it in the group. Do
you know what? He was one of the people that, because I watched Gary Vaynerchuk quite.
I don't actually watch him. It was just a random video. I don't watch him, and it just really spoke to me. This video.
He was one of the reasons why to give TikTok a go, because I kept having it on my For You page. You need to start a TikTok in 2022. You need to start it, or it's going to be too late. You need to have an audience. And I was like, all right, Gary, I'll just do one. I'll start one. And then, we're so lucky to have these sort of social medias. They are a bit toxic sometimes, but we're so lucky to be able to have the opportunity to build an audience and to to connect with people from all around the world on there, you know, and it's unbelievable, to be fair.
Absolutely. Cindy said brand building is great on Amazon. Hayden said, you know, that thing about going left when everyone else is going right. I mean, that would be okay for me because I'd always go in the wrong direction because I don't know my lefts and rights. So I'd always be all right, not following the crowd.
Yeah.
But he thinks the same with crypto. Again, I agree. No one's talking about that. If people aren't talking about it, yeah, generally that's when you need to kind of have a look at it. Kurb says, just give yourself 12 months. You could be amazed how far you go in that time in your Amazon journey.
That's so true. I always tell people, I say, don't even think about, just learn the processes for 12 months and then see where you're at. Because people put so much pressure on themselves to leave their job. You know, I've got an apt name there, Quit Your 9 to 5. I should say Quit Your 9 to 5 within 2 years or something. But, you know, don't put too much pressure on yourself and just literally learn every single thing. Become a sponge. Listen to podcasts like this and listen to actually decent people that are not trying to sell 3,000 million pound courses. And they don't even sell on Amazon.
I know, it's crazy. Actually, I'm gonna have to watch out, Luke. You'll be the next one selling some bundle courses. Right. Let's go, Luke. That's your travel. Quit your 9 to 5 on TikTok. Andrew, thanks for clarifying that was you with the Sing the World, the Coke song. Hayden said not a massive fan of him anymore, but I appreciate his knowledge. I assume you're talking about Gary Vaynerchuk and not Luke. But yeah, just connect with Luke, guys. Watch his videos. You know, he's phenomenal to be able to watch, really engaging, to be able to watch his videos, and especially on the travel side, if that digital nomad kind of area gets to you. But Luke,
I've got a video editor now, so my content's going to be even better.
Oh, cool. Again, you start out, you do it yourself, you see the success, you see the opportunity, and even that's going to be outsourced. You're going to be Thomas Parkinson before you know it.
What I was getting at a thing, because I was literally spending so much time on editing, and I was like, why don't I just get someone in? And then all I'm doing now is I'm just doing content every single day and I'm uploading it to a Google Drive, and then he's doing the rest, and it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah. Sounds like you've got organized with a bit of a plan, Luke.
Oh, thank you for that.
Sorry, inside joke, guys, inside joke. But honestly, like literally, I've missed a load of YouTube people. Sorry. Peter says, brilliant, love this, really inspiring. Yeah, you can make money putting it on YouTube as well. Mark says, stunning stuff, inspirational. Thanks, Mark. Really appreciate it. Let's go, Luke. Yeah, I think definitely you're going to see a lot more of Luke over the next 12 months, especially if you are in that cooler space on TikTok and Instagram, where I'm just
get Natalie on there soon. We're going to get Natalie on there. She's going to come on my TikTok. We're going to do some little videos.
I know.
I don't think you can talk under a minute.
I know. I'll have to literally get it out really quickly and and not do it. You know your strengths, and you know your weaknesses. So, Luke, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for your time, because I know it's late where you are right now. So, yeah. Oh, that's all right. You're not going out with any Swedes tonight?
No, they bombed me out.
Oh, ghosted you.
I go to so my travel I go to Manila tomorrow, and then I fly straight to Bangkok, and then I fly the next day to Phuket. So I'm there for 10 days. So if anyone in the group is in Thailand or fancies a beer, let me know. But then I'm going to travel around Thailand for 4 weeks. And then I'm going to Bali for 4 weeks. And then I don't know where else then.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure you'll let us know and keep us updated on the TikTok for sure. Just before you jump off, guys, before we say goodbye, make sure you tune in next week. We are going to be releasing our new seller system on this time next week, 1:00. We'll be talking about it in the group this week. It really is. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be once in a lifetime offer. It's going to be ending in 997. So you absolutely know it's the right place to be. No, I'm only joking. It's not. It's going to be a seller system that if you are not involved in the next 12 months, then you are really going to get left behind. It's about everything that we've been talking about, making sure you're not missing any opportunity on the business that you're already doing, inventory management, education, support, software, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be everything that you will need over the next 12 months to really take advantage of building everything that you want to in this e-commerce space. So make sure you join us next Monday at 1:00. We're going to be revealing everything. We're going to be revealing what it's called. We're going to be revealing how much it is for those that join the early bird. Once in a lifetime join on offer. We're not going to pretend that we're doing free training and then sell you a course at the end. We're just going to spend the whole session going through it, what we're going to be talking about. So you guys can make an honest and open decision whether it's for you or not. But I don't see why it wouldn't be. But
I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, Luke's got a bit of an inside, knows a little bit about what it's going to be about already in terms of what it's going to facilitate and do for people's businesses. So, we're really, really looking for that. It's the big reveal.
It's going to change the game. It's going to change the game.
I think it absolutely will. And, even if you don't do anything and you just use it, if you do no growth, it will grow your business.
Yeah,
that's what it will do to people's businesses. So but I'm gonna go, otherwise I'll go into the full sales mode, so hold it back for next week, but we'll be keeping you updated on the live next week, guys. A lot of people saying exciting. Good. Luke, watch top tip from Rosie, watch those boys when you go out in Thailand.
Oh yeah, the lady boys. Yeah. Do you know what, I've had some on Tinder. Well, I'm on Tinder, right? So it's probably 85% lady boys, and even the girls have got "I'm not a lady boy" on their bio.
Oh really?
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I'm at the moment. It's the most populated lady boy area in the whole of Asia.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. That it absolutely blows my mind. And well, I'm sure there might be some interesting stories about that to follow on your travel TikTok. So keep us updated.
Maybe not. My mother's on that.
Oh really? Okay, maybe not. Oh come on! I knew that was going to be Hayden with the grinder comment for sure. Luke is Thailand eye candy. There you go. I think you got a new fan there.
Who's
Chris
that?
says, yeah, it's Rosie. Chris says, looking forward to seeing it. Kurum says, having time to spend with my teenage kids would be amazing. Absolutely. It's about putting those processes in place, getting those systems done. We got you guys. Don't worry. We've got you. Judith just joined us on YouTube. Sorry, Judith. We're wrapping up now, but the replay should be available very soon if you want to watch it back from the start. Really inspirational session. Luke, thanks so much for joining. It's always a pleasure. We'll have you back in the future. No doubts, because like I said, I think, even in 12 months time, you could be not in a completely different space. You're on the right path now. But, I think there'll be a whole nother year's worth of lessons learned and, and directions that have gone down. So we look forward to catching up with you on that.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you tuning in. Usual drill before you go. Give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Write a comment on the actual video. I say it every week. No one does it. If someone could do it once, that would just be nice. Write a comment on the actual video and not the comment section yourself. That would be great. Subscribe. Hit the button. Do whatever you need to do. But make sure.
YouTube saying that.
I know, hit that like button, but make sure you connect with Luke on TikTok. Like I said, you can thank me later. The videos are gold. They're worth the watch for sure. So I will see you next week for the big reveal, guys. Really looking forward to that. Keep your questions going in the group. Have a great week. And like I said, starting February tomorrow, January's been a good month. Let's hope it continues. Make hay while that sun shines, for sure. See you later, everyone. Bye.